I want to know how you prepare for a golf tournament.
Well, I hit balls maybe 20 minutes, putt a little bit, smoke 4 or 5 cigarettes, drink 3 Diet Cokes, and go to the first tee. Some days I won't even go to the range.
Here we go with the Daily Puck Drop. It is Puck here with you inside the Puck Sports Studios. It's built by Limbach Lumber, family-owned and serving the Northwest since 1930. Look at that. Look at that sign behind me. Look at that beautiful jacket. It's the Northwest premier supplier of specialized lumber and moldings. Summer is here. That means it's deck and fence season. Let the fine folks at Limbach Lumber help you out. Build that. Do it yourself, or maybe get a small contractor to do it for you. Limbach Lumber serves all those guys. LimbachLumber.com is the website. You can call them at 206-782-3487. They got the best swag in the world, too. You can follow them on Instagram. Get inspired by some of their projects there on Instagram. And then head on down there to Limbach Lumber, located in old, historic Ballard, right in my neighborhood. Go see Mark and Matt. And go say hi to Paul. Paul's a great guy. Third generation Limbach Lumber has been around since 1930 in the Puck Sports Studios, built by Limbach Lumber. Here we go. It is Wednesday, July 3rd. It is episode 195 of the Daily Puck Drop, the DPD. Los Marineros. It's getting to be, folks, it's getting to be a real tough watch. It's getting to be a really tough watch because it is a broken record over and over again. We'll touch again on the struggling Mariners offense. LeBron James, some news on him. He really cut the Lakers a deal today. Bronny James says he's earned his place. We'll have a thought or two on that one. We do have a Major League Baseball trade that happened today here on Wednesday, and we wrap up every Daily Puck Drop with Hey, What the Puck, with some sports stories, non-sports stories, as we wrap up today's edition here on Wednesday, July 3rd. We'll also talk to Ryan Divish coming up later today on the program. But this is one of those weeks, right? Everybody's out. We'll have some special stuff coming up tomorrow and Friday as well. Well, no offense again for the Los Marineros. They lose 2-0. Good news for me, because I'm a gambling man. The bet M's under summer continue to roll on. We won. We're back to even at 28-2 as we bet on the under for every single game. The total tonight is 7.5. We'll have more on that coming up later. 9th loss in their last 12 games for the M's. They have dropped 3 of their first 4 to start this homestand. Only good news is that Houston lost last night to Toronto. So the Mariners' lead in the American League West still remains at 3 games. They had 2 hits last night. Exactly 2. And they both were by Josh Rojas. I know everyone was upset last night, and I get it, that, you know, he's the only one that had the hits, and then late in the game, they pinch hit for him with Dylan Moore. The only thing I would say is they brought in a left-hander. Dylan Moore, for the most part, is going to hit better than Josh Rojas against left-handers. Rojas hasn't hit well against lefties, so, I mean, I get the thinking. But I also understand, you know, the frustration from some of you, from a lot of people saying, man, he's the only one that's got 2 hits. He's the only one that's done anything. Just leave him in the game. And the old school guy in me would probably side probably more with you. We get caught up in the numbers a lot now in baseball. I understand why they use them, and I get it. But I also do like the feel of it, and I like the feel for the game. And the one thing that you could counter Scott Servais with, if he were to say, well, I mean, you know, the numbers are the numbers, and look at what, you know, Dylan Moore has done. Dylan Moore hasn't crushed left-hand hitting. And, you know, remember there was a game earlier this year where he left Dylan Moore in the game to face a right-hander rather than bring in a left-hander, because he just felt like he had a good vibe about Dylan Moore. So he has managed games and is in a way where he doesn't just completely 100% rely on numbers, and has kind of played it sometimes by the look and the feel of it. Maybe last night was a time where he could have had a little bit more feel for it, and maybe just keep the guy in there that has actually done something for you. I don't know. Certainly the biggest news that came out of last night's game was the decision when it came out to hit Julio Rodriguez 7th in the batting order. This is a guy that they have committed damn near $500 million to. If it all comes home, 470 million-ish, and he's hitting 7th. I don't know if you're trying to send a message or what it is. Hitting him 7th, I don't think is going to solve anything or take any pressure off of him. They did it earlier. They moved him down, and it didn't work. I'm not sure what's going to work for Julio other than just having like an old school Mark Gray slump buster. If you don't know what that is, not going to describe it for you. You go look it up yourself. Mark Grace slump buster. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And I think that's where we are at right now with Julio Rodriguez. We are in a code red with this guy. He is completely lost at the plate. I'm going to touch on it in a quick second. Mark DeRosa for MLB Central this morning did a complete breakdown on it. I don't know if you can find it on the internet someplace or just go back if you tape the show and try to find it. It was a good 5-minute just analyzation of what is going wrong with him. And he just said, to sum it up, completely lost. Doesn't know what he's trying to do at all. That he's all over the place. And I think last night to me was, I think a lot of us, I think everyone's been concerned about where he has been. Last night for me was really the time where it's code red, panic time, like hitting the code red button as much as he can. Craig Kimbrell comes on to save the game. He comes up. Julio's got runners on base. He can be the hero with one swing of the bat. He can kind of change the entire narrative going on around him, maybe get him out of the funk, and be the guy, that superstar that this organization paid him to do. I know it's a lot of pressure for a guy that's 23 years of age, but this is what happens when you sign a deal like that and you've got everything around you. The franchise is on your shoulders. Guys like that who have that responsibility have to come through for you. They just have to. We've got a debate earlier this year just about his clutch factor. And if you mention any time that, hey, I don't think he comes through in those big moments, and people will throw the numbers back at you like you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. But again, that was another example of last night. He needs to come through for the team, and he did not. You pay him the money and the investment to come through on moments like that. And he failed to do so one more time. But go back and look at the at-bat against Kimbrell. He didn't throw him anything. He didn't throw a slider away. Craig Kimbrell sat up there and looked at him and said, I'm going to blow you away with 5 straight 4-seam fastballs. Craig Kimbrell just dared him to hit a fastball, which Julio should feast on a 4-seam fastball, especially sitting 94, 95. And he whiffed on all of it. And I think that is when I saw that at bat, and with all the concerns that everybody has. But after that, AB, that was like, we're in some deep shit right now with him, because he should have been able on one of those to turn on that, especially with Kimbrell just saying, I'm not going to throw you anything other than a fastball. And he couldn't do it. He's got his personal hitting coach here who works with a bunch of other players, working alongside Jarrett DeHart and also Edgar Martinez. I think it's a lot like with golf sometimes. I think you can have too many voices in your head, and now you got 3 different voices. I know they're all kind of strategizing and working together, but I wouldn't be surprised on the side if each one of them is telling him something different. It's just too much. Every time he's in the batting cage, he's coming out, they're looking at something on his phone. I don't think that's the best way to go about fixing a swing, whether it's baseball or golf. But I just think feel and where's the ball coming off the club, or where's the ball coming off the bat. I know all that stuff helps. I just think that you can get swallowed up by it way too much. Mark DeRosa this morning, as I mentioned before, just did a whole 5-minute breakdown on him and just said he's completely lost. And you see it, right? Every time he swings and misses, what does he do? Falls over. That's what he said is the number one thing. He's off balance. He's not loading. He's not presetting. He did a great side-by-side of Julio and Adolis Garcia, and how if you watch when the pitcher is about to deliver, how Garcia loads, and he did just a great breakdown of how you can see the crease in his pants on his back leg, and you can see that signals him loading, and that he loads, and then as he's going back, right when the ball comes, he explodes. And Julio's not doing any of that. That actually when he loads, he's actually at the time he's loading, he's at the exact moment lunging ahead. So he's loading but lunging ahead right away. And that's creating the him being off balance. I don't, if you go find it online somewhere, or maybe they posted it, MLB Central, but it was, DeRosa's so good at it. Certainly he's been in the arena. He knows what he's talking about, but it was excellent. And yeah, it's panic time for him. And so you send him down to 7th to, I don't know, see the pitchers more. I don't think it's a problem with him seeing the pitchers. I think it's just a problem with his setup and everything. I just think he's changing everything too much. So then he's trying to revert back to what he used to do. And he just has all these thoughts swimming in his head about where to put my hands. Where do I load? Where do I put my feet? Do I squat? Do I not squat? And then the pitch comes and he's like, oh, there's the pitch. And he doesn't know what to do. We've talked a lot about, remember earlier this year, he's been hitting second. We said, why not hit third? And we had Kruger on. We talked a lot about with Kruger. This was our whole thing with Adam Jude, and we love you, Jude, and let's hit him third. Most times players like him hit third, and let's give it a shot. They did. There was some moments of success, but then, he went back to struggling again. The one area which he has routinely had the most success in his entire career, including this year, but it's a small sample size, is leadoff. Go look at it. 4 games this year, and I know it's just 18 at-bats. He doesn't have a walk, but he's hitting .389, and he is slugging .556, and he has an OPS of .945. Again, it is an extremely small sample size of just 18 at-bats. But when you look at his career, pause for a sip of coffee. When you look at his career, he's a .296 hitter. His on base is .350. He slugs .548, and his OPS is .896. He has shown in his career, and I've been caught up in hitting third and all that, but he has shown in his career that he is much more comfortable hitting leadoff. I think I would rather, paying a guy $470 million to hit 7th. Okay? It's embarrassing. And I'm telling you, I think they're going to do more damage to his psyche right now by him seeing that lineup and seeing where he's at. I know what they're trying to do. I think it's going to backfire on him. Hit him first. It's just whether. I don't think it was going to work in one night. I know others want him to send him down. They're not going to send him down to Tacoma. Not going to do that. You're not going to do something like that and do damage to him that I don't know if you could ever fix. So, especially to his mental side of things. Hit him first. It's where he's had his most success. He probably knows that. He knows where his numbers are hitting leadoff. Hit him there. He probably talks to him, but he could have just a good sit-down chat that has nothing to do with his swing. Just everything about the mental side of things, like with Ichiro, somebody. And he probably does talk to Ichiro, but the All-Star break could happen at a good time for him. Maybe he just needs to get away. We're going to talk about something in the daily or in the Hey What the Puck that is just a bad thing for him that is coming up during the All-Star game. That if I were advising him and the Puckett crisis firm, I would nix right now. But They're not going to do that. You can't blame the weather anymore for this offense because that's always our excuse here, right? It's the ballpark, and then it's the weather. Well, the weather's nice. The weather's been nice. You blame the weather in the beginning of the season. So I would ask now, what's the excuse for this team? The offense has never been good except for 1 year. And I want people to guess what that year is. This offense has never, ever, ever been good under this regime, except their very first year they took over. Jerry Dipoto was hired in September of 2015. Of course, takes over in 16, but he inherits all that talent. He inherits Robinson Cano. He inherits Nelson Cruz. Inherits Kyle Seager. I mean, I think people forget 2016. When I hear, hey, free agency doesn't guarantee success, or by spending money like this organization, you just can't buy talent. Really? And I know there's some people that think Cano was a failure here. That year, Robinson, would you take this right now? Robinson Cano in 2016, he hit 39 home runs and he drove in over 100 runs. His OPS was 882 and he hit 298. Sign up for that? You think it wasn't worth the money at times? He didn't disappoint. It was the rest of the team around him that disappointed. Nelson Cruz that year, God, he was probably 98 still then. 287. 43 home runs, drove in 105. His OPS was 915. Kyle Seager was 278, OPS of 859, drove in 99 and hit 30 home runs. That was their only good offensive year under this regime, because they have never, under Jerry Dipoto and this front office, been top 10 in anything. And I looked at two stats. I looked at OPS and I looked at runs scored. They haven't been top 10 in either one of them, ever. 2017, they were 17th in OPS. They were 15th in run. 18, they were 19th in OPS, 21st in runs scored. 2019, 20th in OPS, 20th in runs. 2020, 20th in OPS, 22nd in runs scored. 21, 27th in OPS, 22 in runs scored. 2022 was their, and 23, their best years. 13th in OPS, 18th in runs scored. Last year, they were 16th in OPS, 12th in runs scored. Currently, 27th in OPS, 27th in runs scored. Front office from the get-go has failed miserably at building a competent offense for this baseball team. And they have had enough time to do so. Whatever they're doing, top to bottom, is an organizational fail. And I don't know why ownership can't see it. For as bad as they've been offensively, they have been unbelievable with finding pitching. I mean, I guess that's the hardest thing, right? That's the hardest thing, because that's what's so frustrating, is that they are so good. They're so good at identifying pitchers, college pitchers, finding pitchers in Korea and Japan. Like, I'm just thinking Chris Flex, and bringing these guys over and fixing them. They're so good at it. But why are they not good at drafting and developing hitters? Why? Why can they not do it? Okay, you could say Julio, who's in the midst of just a terrible slump right now. They signed him as a free agent and then developed him. So they get credit for that. And then Cal Raleigh. We did this exercise earlier. Who have they drafted and developed positional player hitters that have done anything? Nobody. No one. And then we get excited about all these guys that are coming up. Well, they have no proof that any of these guys, they can do anything with these guys. So I don't know if Emerson or Young or Ford or any of these guys are going to be good. And I don't care what they're doing down there, because everybody else that they've ever drafted has always been good. And then they come up and it's a complete and utter failure. Or they've traded guys, and maybe this is a different wave. And so maybe they just struck out earlier on those guys, and this new wave of talent that's coming up soon will be good. But I don't know. Will Dipoto and Scott Service and these guys have enough time to see that through? I mean, they still got a 3-game lead. If they don't get in this year, I mean, the conversation will turn and should turn to whether or not these are the guys to get it done. I don't think ownership in a million years, I'll be honest with you, will get rid of Jerry Dipoto. I don't even think it's on the table for him. Whether it should be on the table, that's a different question, a different debate. They probably will remove service first and then start over that. But I don't Dipoto, to me, I think has got so much equity into that team and has so much trust from that ownership group that I don't think anything is going to be made. But my God, man, I don't want to be glass half empty right now with this team, but it is such a hard watch offensively. And I think the growing frustration from fans and myself and others is that it's been a problem for almost 9 years. It's been a problem since 2017. Every year we have talked about the same storyline with this team. They've got to get better offensively. They've got to get more talent. They've got to spend in free agency. They've got to bring hitters here. And they don't do it. And then when they do get guys, and that's the other thing that's frustrating about it, then they do get hitters. They come here, and they're disasters. All of them. Mitch Garver had a career, very good offensive career. Disaster. Polanco, very good offensive career. Comes here, disaster. Wong, Winker, Adam Frazier. I'm just go on and on and on of all the guys that they have brought here. And then they get here, and it's the weather, it's the travel, it's the ballpark, it's whatever. But it's not like they just struggle at home; they struggle on the road. I mean, what's the messaging? Like, what is not getting through to them offensively, and just what is their philosophy? Because their philosophy is this whole control, dominate the zone thing, and all they do is strike out all the time. They struck out what? I can't even keep track. They struck out 11 times last night. It is, and they waste a great performance from Kirby. Just piss it down the drain again. I'm telling you, I would love to be on the private text thread with George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, all the pitchers, Castillo Miller, all of them. Woo. I would just love to be on that, to hear what they say. They'll get back on it today. The bet M's under Summer. Bet the under. We're 28-2. The total tonight is 7.5. Logan Gilbert gets the ball. Dean Kremer is back there for Baltimore. Back after not pitching since, I think, early May or mid-May. He had tricep strain. 4.32 ERA in 50 innings this season. Corbin Burns will start on Thursday. He's been away from the team, birth of twins. So, hey, congratulations to the Burns family. We'll see if they can get back on it today and get something going offensively. I'd try anything. How about everybody just bunts? Just the whole team bunts. Moving on. A big day there in the NBA. It was, you had a press conference yesterday, and you had ESPN breaking into this, and I get it because it's entertainment. Breaking in, it must have been the first time in the history of ESPN that they broke into programming for a press conference of a second-round draft pick and a guy that in reality shouldn't make the team in Bronny James. But Bronny James had his press conference yesterday, introduced with Connect, the kid out of Tennessee, and it really was just the Bronny James show. LeBron was there and all that, and he's sitting up there with JJ Redick, and he sat up there and said, he's heard all the criticism, he's online, all of it, television, that he hasn't earned his way, that he didn't earn a spot in the NBA, that he was handed this spot because he is Bronny James and his dad's LeBron. And he said, quote, "I've earned my way." Really? How so? And then he blamed USC, by the way. And that's the great sign of leadership. He blamed USC for him not having a good season, that he wasn't used the right way at USC. Okay. I mean, if you watch Pac-12 basketball, what were they supposed to do? You were like the fourth best, I don't even know, the fourth best player on the team. You weren't that good. I mean, it's just so clear to people when they'd watch those games. And I think a lot of people gave him a pass for what he was dealing with. He had a heart issue. I don't think anybody was expecting him to come back right away and be great. I mean, Skate was lucky and happy and thankful that he even got to play, but earned his way and hasn't earned anything. Not a single thing he hasn't earned to be drafted in the second round by the Lakers. He's drafted in the second round by the Lakers because of his dad. I think everybody sees that. But I understand how that probably eats at him. But he has to understand deep down, though, that he had to say that yesterday, but deep down he knows. But here's why it's laughable when I hear Bronny James saying, and even J.J. Redick was up there, that he's earned his way. And Rob Pelinka, he's earned his way on this team. Really? You know what his agent, Rich Paul, Clutch Sports, is trying to negotiate right now? And I'm going to tell you, they're going to draw, and this is going to happen, because they're going to draw a hard line in the sand, and they're going to use LeBron to get this done. Rich, you want to talk about earning your way. Then why are you, and he works for you, by the way, Rich Paul does, Brian James, why are you having Rich Paul negotiate on your behalf with the Lakers? Because they are trying to secure and force the Lakers to give Bronny James a multi-year contract, which then guarantees him a spot on the team, spot of the 15 players. How in the world is that, quote, earning your way? If you want to earn your way, sign a standard contract that every second-round pick does. There's no guarantees you're making the team. But you got an agent who, again, is employed by LeBron, and really, he works for LeBron. I mean, it's, LeBron, that's LeBron's guy. Now he's representing you, and he's trying to get Rob Pelinka and the Lakers to give you a secured spot on the team. That's not earning your way. That's not at all. Didn't earn your way into the NBA. Not going to earn your way onto the roster. Speaking of LeBron, remember he was going to give him a deal. Everybody said, he's going to cut him a deal. He's going to give him a hometown discount so they can get more talent. Yeah, that worked out well. He agreed this morning to a max deal. 2 years, it's basically like a 1-on-1 deal. 2 years with an option, or it's an option, so it's like a rollover 1-year contract. $104 million. Max deal. Maxed out. Puts the team over the luxury cap by $1,000. Has basically hurt their chances to get anybody else. Remember the whole story? He's going to take a discount so he can get more talent around him. Oh, he is? Oh, okay. Love that narrative. I thoroughly enjoy the narrative that he and his camp love to push out. He's going to take a discount so he can get more talent. He maxed out. He absolutely maxed out his contract. He doesn't care. They've done nothing. I mean, he won a fictitious championship with the Lakers, been on 15 different head coaches, and then forced the organization, one of the proudest organizations in the history of sports, to draft this kid. And basically held him hostage. You don't draft my kid, I'm leaving. And so they did it. And then they hand him over a max deal. LeBron James is, it's remarkable how much he has controlled that organization. That organization shouldn't let anybody force their hand. They're the LA Lakers, for God's sakes. Come on. We did have a small trade today in Major League Baseball. Aaron Savali traded from the Rays in his 5.17 ERA to the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, a minor deal, not a huge deal. I don't know if this signals that Tampa Bay is selling. Could be on the fence. It could be buyers and sellers. We'll see. Was very good with Cleveland. Gives Milwaukee some stability, if I can spit it out, there in the rotation. We'll see if Tampa Bay's still on the fence. They've got some players that certainly could fit there for the Mariners. MLB starters are going to be revealed tonight on ESPN at 4 o'clock. Shocker, there are no Mariners. Spoiler alert, okay? No M's. All right, we wrap up the Daily Puck Drop with Hey, What the Puck? Another pause for coffee, listener. TNT Sports is going to air Mountain West games coming up on True TV and also on Max, HBO Max. The games are going to air on the linear version, True TV, which you can find, probably in most of your cable packages if you have cable and all that. And then it's going to stream on Max. First game is going to be Sac State, the Hornets, I believe, against San Jose State. I know them. They're the Spartans. Thursday, August 29th. 9 games are on the schedule. Does not include Washington State and Oregon State at all. So there's no Cougar games, no Beaver games on that. But it does signal the future of, where we're going with sports programming and what the future can be. Let's say Oregon State and Washington State, end up reverse merging or doing something there with the Mountain West schools. Now they've got a TV platform working there with TNT Sports. And, it's not a bad deal. You have your going to be on regular cable, regular TV, I guess. And then also have a streaming option. Of course, they have that deal also with the CW network. So, even though they're not on this year, looking towards the future of what maybe the Beavers and the Cougs will be if they bring along some of those teams, could be a future home there for the Pac-2 schools. I mentioned this earlier when we were discussing Julio as we continue on. Hey, what the puck? Terrible timing for Julio Rodriguez. And this is just awful. And I don't know, what would you do if you were his marketing and PR team? See, I think I'd pull the plug on this, but they're not going to. So he's not going to be an all-star. Again, spoiler. Not going to participate in anything, I don't believe. Going to be in the home run derby? I don't think so. Yet there is a full-on documentary on Julio Rodriguez, the young superstar that is following the post-game show of the All-Star game on FS1. It's produced by Derek Jeter's company. Alex Rodriguez is in it. King Griffey Jr. is in it. Bunch of stars are in it, and detailing the rising stardom of baseball's next superstar in the midst of his worst season ever. In fact, where he will not be an all-star, and they're going to air this thing right after the all-star game. I know they're not going to pull the plug on it, but man, you have to consider it, don't you, a little bit? Just thinking this is awful timing. We thought we had this thing built. He's coming off this unbelievable, he's coming off a season which he finished 4th in the MVP. He's going to be an all-star again. He's going to probably put on a show in the Derby. And then, maybe he has a good game. And then we celebrate with this documentary. We introduce him to the rest of the country if people don't know who he is. People are going to be like, why are we having an hour-long documentary on a guy that is batting 7th in the Mariners lineup? And he's batting 7th on a team that can't hit? Bad timing. Bad timing, man. And I feel bad for him because I'm maybe going to sit down and watch that and just be like, man, this is depressing. More baseball news. It's time to go get Vlad. Just go get him. They're coming to town this week. And the Blue Jays and all their drunk fans, get him. Don't let him leave. He got off to a slow start to the season, but since May 1st, you know what Vlad Guerrero is doing since May 1st? He's hitting 337. His on base is 401. He's slugging 542, and his OPS is 942. He's done struggling. He's back to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Type things. Go get him. The Blue Jays, they're going to sell these guys. Go make him an offer. See what happens. He's got one more year of arbitration. He's making $19 million this year, and see if you can lock him up to a long-term deal. You've got the capital to do it in your minor league system. Go do it. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is on a tear right now for Toronto. If Toronto starts selling, they need to be the first one in lines to acquire him. Again, voicemail line is open. Just visit pucksports.com. It's in the upper right-hand corner. You can see it, voicemails. Click on there, and then we'll pop up the phone number. You can leave a voicemail. For those listening right now, it's 425-577-7272. If you can't remember that, just go to pucksports.com. If you missed our announcement yesterday, yes, the go-to guy is coming back on Monday, July 8th. He posted up a video at Cougs Go there on X. God, he looks refreshed. Little 5 o'clock stubble shadow. He's out there walking the dogs in beautiful Bend, Oregon. And he'll be back with us on Monday. He's going to do probably Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to start off. And then we'll see because he's old now, I'm not sure if he can do all 5 days. Okay. But we'll start off with 3 with Grandpa, and then we'll see where that goes. All right. My thing with him is the odds of him actually being able to get online on Monday, plug in his microphone, and get it to work. I'm setting it 1% chance. And I even said to him, let's do a trial run before Monday. And the trial run, I guarantee whenever we do it, probably Sunday, will be so bad. Then that Monday, I'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Even though if we do the trial run on Sunday and it's good, come Monday, it will be awful. I can't wait to have him back and to watch him struggle mightily to get to this new technology to work. But the go-to guy is back on Monday. That's it for Hey, What the Puck? And that's it for the Daily Puck Drop. Episode 195 in the books, Wednesday, July 3rd. I appreciate you watching and listening from the Puck Sports Studios, which is built by Limback Lumber. Give them a call today, 206-782-3487. It is summer fence and deck season. Go get the best lumber in the state, in the area. That is Limback Lumber. Best designs, best logos. Look at that stuff behind me. Look at that jacket. I may auction that jacket off at some point because that's a damn good jacket. Limback Lumber, great sponsors too of the Ballard Little League. We're going to be Team Limback Lumber next year, but they've been sponsoring Ballard Little League forever. So big thanks to Paul and Mark and Matt and those guys for doing that over there. Just great. Bennett, it's a great company, third generation, been around since 1930. Go visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Again, Ryan Divish coming up later today, so stick around for that. We'll talk to you then. As always, we promise to be better.